What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Recently, I did a show on Shot Alpo Martinez, and when I did the video, it came out a little bit later because Dima took some time editing it. But we now know that, in fact, it was him that was killed. And then we know that how he was killed, it was a person that hit him that was an excellent shooter, because the bullets came in such close proximity within a certain range or area that it couldn't have been anybody that was, on the street or some untrained person. It was somebody that had probably done this before, or some sort of marksman type of shooter. Okay. So much so that it didn't even break the windshield. That's how accurate the shots were. But what we've also found out is that Alpo was living another life that he was not supposed to be living. Now, it struck me to think about, how does this guy have a truck like this? He's a guy that, he's not earning any money that I know of. He has a 2017 pretty nice truck. That's a Dodge Ram. It's a good looking truck. How can he afford this particular truck? Now, no one's asking this question. And I was like, okay, well, if it's his truck, how is he affording these things? Well, as it turns out, after he got shot 5 times, Mr. Alpo Martinez, the first thing he thought about doing was throwing baggies of drugs out of his truck's window as he tried to drive away from the scene. Okay? So probably knowing that he was really hurt, he was getting ready to die, the first instinct he had was not really to maybe check himself or something. He was getting rid of the drugs, which is interesting because it's probably heroin. He was rushed to Harlem Hospital, but Mr. Alpo was 55 years old. And I want to talk about this because this is the reality for a lot of guys who unfortunately recommit problems or go back into the prison system. Despite having the feds watch him, despite people knowing who he is, despite all of that, Mr. Alpo had no other skills but to be a dealer. That's all he's known. Despite, even in today's world, from what I understand, drugs, I don't deal drugs, but I understand the market is not as great for heroin as it used to be. From what I understand, even you got a better chance starting a podcast, or YouTube could be more lucrative than that. But he was still in the streets. Okay. And I want to talk about, changing one's life. And it's just not about, Alpo or anything like that. I'm talking about breaking bad habits, because sometimes in life we get a second chance and we mess it up, because now we don't know if the shooting was about what he did previously or if it was about a new drug deal that went bad. We don't know. But the guy is 55 years old selling heroin as probably like a street dealer. Something you would expect somebody that's a kid to do. And the reality is that God gave him another chance. He blew it. I want to ask you did you get another chance? And what are you doing with it? We've all made a mistake. Some of us have made a mistake. Some of us should be dead. We're not. Every time you wake up in the morning, the blood is still warning, warm in your veins, as they would say in church, you got a chance to do something. You got a chance to redeem yourself. You got a chance to prove people wrong who didn't think you was going to be anything. You got a chance to develop yourself. You got a chance to develop other people. You got a chance to develop your community. You got a chance to see the world. And you might have come from nothing. You might come from a bad situation. You might even have went to jail. But that don't mean that you got to stay that way. And for a lot of brothers out there, we don't figure out that you are who you hang around. You are the company that you keep. And many guys go to jail and are, be around certain situations and don't want to elevate, don't want to change their life. Some guys stay in the same job for 10 years, 20 years. Some guys are not developing. And you stick to what you know. No matter if it can get you into trouble. And you throw it all away. Just to be in the streets. And I want black men to really let that sit with you. Let that marinate. Let that thought marinate. Think about all the opportunities out there in the world for you. All of the people that you haven't met, all of the people that you haven't seen, all of the people who could love you, all the impact that you can have on somebody else's life. And to think about it, you're blowing it. Sometimes I'm blowing it. Like, you really don't know how good life can be, how great things can be. Even if you went through a rough patch in your life, even if you made mistakes. Who said you got to stay there? You don't have to stay there. There's some things in your life you're not proud of. You failed a couple classes. Keep living. You keep fighting. Went through a rough patch. You lost it all. Got divorced. Child support. Anything. You ain't got to stay there. You got the ability to change your life. Because why? Because you want to change it for yourself. But Mr. Alpo, maybe he wanted to change his life. Didn't have the right folks around him. He didn't. He paid the price. Still dealing drugs as an FBI person in witness protection. Didn't develop your skills. That's what happens to a lot of guys. You get old. No 401k. You have no savings. You have none of that stuff. If you don't sell drugs, you end up at Walmart as a door guy. Take the advantage right now to make the right decisions in your life today. Don't wait until it's too late. You're a young guy right now. You're 18, 19. Do the right things right now. Make the right decisions in life right now. So when you get 55, you're somewhere sitting around in the beach. You're not throwing drugs out the window because that's all you know. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe with the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.